Hey guys, it is Esti and Justin from Not For Long Media.
If you like the video you're about to watch, be sure to like the video itself and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it.
Enjoy the video and also don't forget to follow us on our socials at Not For Long Media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
All right, so your first big league home run, massive shot. I watched the video in Seattle. Like, what do you remember about that and like everything it meant to you?
First, that was a pinch hit, and it was off a guy named Austin Adams, who's with the Padres now and is one of my buddies. So that was always fun talking to him this year about that because he remembers it very clearly too. So before I pinch hit, I was in the cage with two of the coaches from the Reds, and we were literally working on down and in sliders because that's what Austin throws, an unbelievable slider. Like he throws it like 90% of the time. And the guy still can't hit it. So we're working on that, like down and in, and they told me to swing and miss, like inside the ball. And I was like, why, like swing and miss a specific way off the machine. I'm like, why? That doesn't make any sense. Did that for like a couple, and they're like, all right, hit. And I just started hitting line drives, like, figured it out. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. So I go out there, and it's that, and it was a fastball, but it was down and in, like right where we were working, and there it goes. But it was, as soon as I hit it, I knew it, but I didn't want to, it was my first one. I had just been in the big leagues. I didn't want to like stand there and watch it or anything. So I was like trying to start running, but I'm like, oh man, and then at the time it put us up 2-1. So I was pretty excited. We ended up losing that game, but it was just, man, like, felt like I was floating around the bases, it was just kind of like that. I'd been there for, a couple of weeks or whatever at that point, but it was just kind of like, wow, like, this is it. I did it. There's the first one. And it was a lot of pressure off my back because I had a lot of home runs that year at AAA, and everyone was kind of like, when are you going to hit one here? So I was like, thank you. It's over with now. I can just play.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was like way down low too. You had to golf it to get it out of there. It was so sick. So I saw that back in college. I want to take you back to Rutgers a little bit. I found an interesting little nugget that Colin might not be happy with. This was a game against Temple. Sorry, Colin. You had a walk off, but the game was like 4+ hours long. Were you more excited that you won the game, or were you more excited that you got to go home?
Both, because that was like the most miserable day of my life until that at bat. I was like 0 for 5. Or 0 for 6. Like I had not had a good game that day. And it was literally, we didn't have lights at Rutgers. So the game was like, it was legitimately starting to get dark out too. Like, I don't know how much longer they were going to let us play. And I was so mad. Like I really was. I was so mad because I was 0 for whatever. And we just kept playing. And I hit that. And I was, oh my God, I was so happy. I was like, thank God that this is over. And made the day a lot better after that too.
The swing that ended Temple baseball, because Temple baseball is no more.
They were. I mean, at least that year, they were a pretty good team. They were scrappy, man. They weren't bad. I felt bad for those dudes that they were getting canceled.
Yeah, it's a shame. Justin, they had like a mass canceling of athletics. I think 2011, 12.
Yeah, right around there somewhere.
And it's before I got there, maybe 13, and somewhere in that area. And they almost canceled football, which would have been crazy. You never do cancel football, right? You saw what happened, and then whatever yeah. So that's just history. But yeah, Temple baseball's no more. And I was devastated because I became close with a lot of, of Florida Gator baseball guys, and still my buddies to this day. That some that Keenan Kish and a bunch of those guys. So, but yeah, it was a bummer. I'd love going to Gator baseball, and they're really good. But it would have been fun to go to Temple baseball for sure. Where did they play, Bri?
They played all the way out in
Ambler, the old Ambler campus, baby.
Yep, that's where they played.
What else you got, Jay?
So you followed in the footsteps of the Todd father, Todd Frazier, Rutgers to the Reds. Do you keep up with the Todd father? Do you still talk to him? Like, what's your relationship like with him?
Yeah, I do. Todd's a great dude. He's as South Jersey or Central Jersey as they come, man. He's Tom's River legend, but he
wow.
Yeah, he right away when I got drafted, he reached out, and then he took care of me while he was, at spring training and stuff. When he was still with the Reds and I was younger, he was, always helping me out, always talking to me. And then since then, man, we still talk Twitter or whatever. see him at like the alumni stuff. He's always, telling me, "Oh man, you had a great year. He's keeping up with you, all this stuff." He's hasn't changed one bit since then, and yeah, he's a good dude.
The take care of you aspect thing. People think it's more than it is. It's not more than it is. It's not less than it is, but it's always the right amount. You always have someone to talk to. I always talk about Justin Pugh, who's a Council Rock guy, and Justin went to the Giants, and I'm the undrafted guy. He was a first-round pick a couple of years before, and you just don't have. Pro sports are tough. You don't know anybody. There's literally nothing. So if you can connect with anybody about anything, it's like, boom, you're like all in on it because you're just trying to have that same feeling you had before. Like, yeah, the play matters, but yeah, you have to live. You're a human being. Like, you're trying to have conversations between at bats or between plays or when you're meeting or when you're eating or whatever. So Justin was huge for me. He took me under his wing, took care of me, man, because without Justin, like I would have had a much rougher rookie experience for sure. When it came to like making me sing in front of the team and all that stuff, Justin took care of me. So what do you got, Jay, to finish up?
Yeah, last one. I think we brought it up earlier, but your bat company, Richie Bats. I was looking at your website. It's like the coolest thing ever. So many of the guys in like the minors and the pros, shout out Lars Newbar, are using them. Like, how did you get into that? And like, how have you seen it grown so far?
Yeah, so they started making the bats. My father-in-law got involved, and they wanted to be, in the MLB, you got to be certified. So it helps to have a guy who swings them with that process. So they asked me if I wanted to invest in it, and I said, yep. And so that's 2020 was our first year, and we were doing really well. And then the pandemic hit, so that kind of messed up in terms of the like MLB stuff. But yeah, this past year, my buddies are pro sales rep now from down here, and I believe we had over 80 guys total swinging them in like minor leagues. And I don't know how many big guys in the big leagues actually swung them, but that's a lot of guys for, basically the first year. So it's going really well. We do the BB core bats now, which are the metal bats everyone uses nowadays because they changed them. So, but we do the youth. We're like number 1 or 2 in the youth market, depending on where you look at. So we do really well with that. They're so cool. The customization you can do, the different colors, all the things that you can do on the website. I wish, in the MLB, there's only certain colors and things you can use. I wish we could just use whatever, because there's some really cool bats they make. So it's a lot of fun. Obviously, it's something I know a lot about. And hopefully, when my playing days are over, we can just be doing that, and I'll just make bats for the rest of my life. But it's a lot of fun, man. And hopefully I'll use them in Japan, and then we'll be all over the place.
International, man. International. I love it.
Got to get certified over there real quick, and then we'll be using them there too. Great
questions, Jay. Yeah, I had a bat customized for my dad for his bar.
Yeah, we got to get some not for long ones, man.
Yeah, we got to get some not for. Justin and I were talking about that earlier. We'll figure it out. We can do maybe some gear swap, and
sounds good.
Yeah, so guys, go on to the holidays too, and you can like make a custom bat. It's not like the real bat. You can't really swing it with a baseball, probably crack in half, but it looks like a real bat, and it feels like a real bat, and you can hit a tennis ball with it and play beer baseball with it for sure, for those that are acquiring. But yeah, a little custom Christmas gift would be cool. Last question for me, Brian. When do you head over? When do you head overseas?
It's supposed to be the end of January.
Okay.
So February 1st in Japan is spring training every year. So before this new variant stuff happened, it was a 3-day quarantine. Hopefully it's back to that. And but we'll see what happens. But that's the plan right now. They're not too worried about it. So it'll be the end of January, and that'll be it.
I guess not the last question for me. A lot of American-born players over there?
Not a ton. No, it's I don't know if it's if they have a max of how many foreigners you can have, because Spanish guys go too. But there's a decent amount. There's at least 2 on each team. But then they well, so right. I actually have one of my buddies is going to is on my team. He married a wood girl, so small world. And I ended up with him with the race, and now we're both going to Japan together.
Small world. No doubt about it. Well, Brian O'Grady, wish you nothing but the best of luck, man. Go on, guys, and buy some bats for your family, Richie Bats, for the holidays. We're going to look forward to supporting you. And now we got something to watch. Yeah. Like, I don't need to watch the Phillies until probably September. So I'll be watching Brian overseas.
Love it. Yeah. I was watching Adam Jones highlights of him over in Japan crushing homers earlier.
Yep. There you go. That's the plan. But
They have
thank
a
you
home.
for having me, man.
Hold on. Again, another question. I'm the worst. They have a home run derby for sure, right?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I'd love to be in it if they do, though.
We're going to
Sure
fly
they do.
over. Not for long media. We got a big budget. We'll fly over and support Brian.
You can stay with me, man. Come on over.
Brian O'Grady, appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.